There's another love you've nurtured forever, your love for protecting the planet.
Yeah.
Where did your love for the environment begin? Point us to that one turning point you said, it's time to do something to correct our wrongs.
Yeah, I think a couple of things. So I was quite young when we started our project, and being a student, living in Oxford in the 80s, seeing the impact of Thatcherism, you had these beautiful meadows and countryside that suddenly would become big housing estates with 1,000 houses. Ava was Swedish, so she was naturally green right from the beginning. The Swedes saw the impact of acid rain and Chernobyl and the terrible ecological mismanagement of Russia, because they're on Russia's border. So they felt they had all the fallout, literally fallout of that. And so then we came to a beautiful idyll. And at that sort of young age, we felt that a company must have a purpose beyond simply enriching shareholders like Ava and I and our partners and paying employees a salary. And we realized that if we were to do that, we could attract a certain type of person to our organization who would be really engaged and passionate. And as I touched upon earlier, the definition of luxury in our industry is not how elaborate the physical asset is. It's the people, it's the magic. And magical service can only be trained to an extent. It has to be instilled, it has to come from the gut. So if you have a core purpose that goes beyond just simply enriching yourself and your employees, it can ring true to them. And they feel passionate about the business, and they get up every morning being proud Sonevians and wanting to go and create magic for our guests. So it sort of works very well. And in fact, that's why I think one of the few hotel companies to have won the equivalent to the Oscars, not just for luxury in travel and tourism, but also sustainability for travel and tourism more than once. The World Travel and Tourism Council, the government private sector partnership, gave us their Tourism for Tomorrow award in 2008, and then again in 2015 when they met in Madrid. And so it's just been very important to us, and a big part of our success, I think, this idea of sustainability. And it's really ingrained in us. It's not a new fad. It's something that was started at the beginning. It's our core purpose, and it's our DNA.
So Sonu, I first saw the top pop glass bottles for water for the first time in my life in a luxury resort when I first visited Soneva Fushi in 2011. 10 years later, hotels are still struggling to get rid of plastic waste. Is the luxury travel industry doing enough to protect the environment? Is sustainability now a part of the new world order?
Well, obviously, sustainability has become much more on the agenda because we're seeing the impact of our previous practices. And I think we need to realize that any economic activity, unfortunately, benefits the richest 20 to 30% on the planet. So if you think about our activity, travel, if you can afford to travel, even if you fly EasyJet or a cheap low-cost airline, I can't remember what the Indian equivalent is, or you stay in a budget hotel, you're still amongst the richest 20% on the planet. And what you're consuming is impacting on the poorest. So we need to be aware of that, and we're starting to see the impact of our behavior. So when we think about it, that by 2030 there'll be more plastic in the ocean. On the current trajectory, there'll be more plastic in the ocean than fish. We've exceeded 4 of the planetary boundaries. I'm not sure if you're aware of this idea of the Stockholm Resilience Center, that there are 10 planetary boundaries. So we've exceeded 4 of them. 1 billion people don't have access to clean water. Christine Lagarde, a few years ago, the head of the IMF, she pronounced that by 2030, half of sub-Saharan Africa will no longer be able to grow the crop that it does. And potentially half of the world's population will be living in areas of water stress, including many people in India. If you think about Gurgaon, the land of golf courses, it's just seeping the water table. So what we're coming towards the cliff end, and that's obviously driving people towards sustainability. And the good thing is that the technology's there, the knowledge is there, the understanding's there. Unfortunately, what's not there yet, and to answer your point, is has the travel industry truly embraced, and the luxury travel industry truly embraced sustainability? No, only lip service, because there's so much more one can do. And when one puts one's mind to it, As I said, the technology is there, the opportunities are there, but it's not being followed through.
If I were to ask you to pick one thing the luxury travel industry needs to do urgently to save the environment, what would that one thing be?
It's a whole list of things. I mean, it's a bit like the onion.
The first one, right on top of the pyramid.
Well, I mean, obviously your impact on carbon emissions is a top priority. Waste is clearly very important. Eliminating the single use of plastic is another big thing. So I think those, and then engaging in the community.